If you haven't heard, we have our Christmas sale going on right now, so all of our Filmmaker goodies are 25% off store-wide from now until Christmas Eve, including all of our new products. So, go to the link in the notes and all that stuff. And speaking of Filmmaker goodies, today we are looking at what we're asking Film Santa for this year, starting at the beginning with pre-production. And the first two things are my current favorite writing apps, and that is from John August, which is Highland 2. There is a free version of the app. You can write a full script and save, but when you export a PDF, there is a watermark. So to get rid of that and unlock all of its other great features, you're gonna have to fork over $50, which is still crazy cheap. And $50 is pocket change next to my next script writing pick, which is Final Draft. I actually jumped ship from Final Draft a few years ago, but with the release of version 10 and the even better version 11, I am right back into it. Usually I'm writing film Riot in Highland, but for feature-length scripts, I have been in Final Draft. For me, it just has much better functionality, especially with the beat board and the other tools that it has to organize and build a longer story, which is also reflected in its price tag of $250. But honestly, writing is writing. What software you use is all preference. Moving on, but staying in the writing family, we have Writer's Emergency. This one is super cheap and insanely useful. It's a deck of cards that are packed with ideas to help you get your story back on track. If you get stuck, you grab a card and it challenges you to think differently. Then we have three separate but equally awesome things from Plot Devices: the Storyclock Notebook, the Storyboard Notebook, and their new Storyclock Workbook. The Storyboard Notebook is exactly what it sounds like. You can sketch out your ideas or shots in there to help flesh them out and better show someone what you're thinking. But then you have the Storyclock Notebook, which is to help your writing. It's a great tool to help you develop and flesh out your story ideas. And the Workbook is basically the notebook, but with more goodies to help you break those ideas. Then we have something that is for both pre-production and production, and that is Shot Lister. It's a shot list app that makes it very easy to create and share your shot list with your entire team, especially during production. I use this for Ballistic and was able to make changes on the fly and push it to my team so everybody knew what I was doing as I was making fast changes. It's one of the must-have tools for me. And the last one for pre-pro is FrameForge 4, which is my favorite storyboarding program. You can create any shot you can think of in 3D and even turn those into animatics if you'd like. It's also a great way to explore lenses and framing before getting on set. First camera up is the cheapest, and that is the Sony Alpha A6300. It's a sub $1,000 camera that shoots 4K, and it's Sony, so the low light and the still side are both solid. Next is the Canon 6D Mark II. This one only shoots 1080, and the low light is just okay, but it is the best camera I've ever used for vlog style shooting. I rented it for all my trips out to edit Ballistic with Lucas. So, if you do that type of thing. Moving on, we have the Panasonic GH5S. As always with these cameras, the specs on it are pretty crazy for the price tag. We also did a review on the GH5, which these two cameras are very similar, so a lot from that review does carry over to this camera as well. Moving into pricier cameras, we have the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro, which is a camera that can cut seamlessly with the Alexa, and seeing how it's $5,000, that's pretty impressive. That is, of course, still a hefty price tag, but maybe you were just that good this year. I don't know. Moving even further down the pricey rabbit hole, we have the Canon C200. This camera is the one that we shot my most recent short film Ballistic with, and I've always been a fan of Canon cameras, and this is no exception. We did do a full review on this one, link in the notes below. The only downside here is that you're going out $7,500 for it, so there is that. First up for monitors is a SmallHD Focus. This thing supports UHD 4K, HD, and SD inputs, and has a really great display, which is obvious because it's SmallHD, and this one goes for $500. Then my second monitor of choice is also SmallHD because it's pretty much all I use when it comes to monitors, and that is the SmallHD 703 Bolt. It has a Teradek system built into the monitor itself, so it doesn't have all that extra stuff hanging off that you need when you go wireless. It's another one I used for Ballistic, and now I have my own because it's glorious, and I never want to shoot without it. Starting on the crazy cheap side, we have the Aputure Armaran, which is going for $45. It's surprisingly bright and perfect when you need that extra something in your scene, and although it's very cheap, it does not perform or feel cheap at all. Then we have the Yongnuo light wand. This thing is an RGB light that is only $80. You can get any color out of it, so no need for gels, and although I haven't used it myself, I've ordered one already and have heard a lot of good. Of course, it is only $80, so keep that in mind. Moving on, we have the Aputure 1 120D2, Aputure puts out nothing but amazing lights, and you can dim this one from 1% to 100%, and it has a CRI of 96. Overall, this is easily one of my favorite lights. Then we have the iKan Lyra, which is a gorgeous light, great output and beautiful light quality, but the price tag is $1,068. But if you are looking for a panel like this, I would definitely go for this one. Great build, features, and most importantly, light quality. The last light we have is my personal favorite light right now, and that is the amazing Westcott Flex RGBW. I'm not going to go into all the things that make this thing incredible because we did do a review that you can find in the links below. But now we've gotten through half of our list, so we're gonna take a break to pay some bills, and then we'll get into stabilizers, post-production, and educational goodies. Domain.com has all your website needs, including .com and .net domain names and intuitive website builders. You can take the first steps in creating an identity online. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and has all the tools that you need to build your new website so you can start sharing your ideas with the world on that professional website. No domain extension is going to help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. If you want to brand yourself online, Domain.com has over 300 domain name extensions to fit your needs, from .club to .space, and the good people at Domain.com are showing you love by giving you 15% off their already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FilmRiot at Domain.com's checkout. And when you think domain names, think Domain.com.
Logo.
And back to our overly ambitious list, because most of us don't have a rich uncle to spend all this money on us. First up is the FREEFLY Movi Cinema Robot, which is a stabilizer for your smartphone. I actually have one of these lying around and plan to do an episode on it very soon, but it's easy to use, very useful, and goes for $300. Next up is the DJI Ronin-S, another one that we have done a review on, link in the notes below. It's a great mix of quality and a price tag of $750. Which is a lot, but for what you're getting, not a lot. And the last gimbal is not cheap, but it is one of the best out there, which is the Ronin 2. It's incredibly versatile and smooth as butter, so if you're in the market for a professional gimbal, you can't go wrong with this one. However, it will cost you $8,200, so pucker up.
Why?
Because someone's gonna...
Nope, nope, nope!
Jumping in, we have the Rode Vid Mic Pro Plus, which in my opinion is by far the best on-camera mic that you're gonna find. The sound is excellent and it has great features like turning on and off with your camera to help preserve battery, which is something I always forget to do. The price tag for this bad boy is $260, which for a mic like this and what you're getting from it is beyond worth it. Moving on, we have our shotgun mic, the Rode NTG3. This is the mic that I have been using for forever and has quality that stacks up to mics at twice its price. It will run you $655, but like I said, it's got that sexy quality. Next, we have some recorders like the Sound Devices Mix Pre 3. It's Sound Devices, so no need to say any more there. And this is their low budget recorder. It's cheaper than their other stuff by far, but the quality is just as good as everything else they put out. If you need to go cheaper than that, you can check out the Zoom H4n Pro. This is a really inexpensive recorder that I've used for years. It goes for $200. So if you're on a budget and looking for a recorder, you're welcome. Our first bit of post-production goodness comes from Hitfilm, like with Hitfilm Pro, Action Pro, Ignite Pro, and Emerge Pro. All of that is really great, but if you're looking for a low-cost editor that you can buy and not have a subscription for, Hitfilm Pro is what you're gonna want. Or if you're not looking to spend any money at all because of responsibilities, you can grab their free Hitfilm Express because, you know, why the f not? Next is Adobe CC, which is subscription-based. You can get access to every bit of software they make. Their stuff is some of the best in the industry and what I personally use as well, so completely worth it in my opinion, but you can also get a subscription to just the software that you want at half that price. Or you could level that up for $70 a month to get a plan that has all the apps plus Adobe Stock. I've shown Adobe Stock on the show a bunch of times. It's one of the best ways for finding exactly what you need at solid quality. You got stock images, video, templates, and so on. Most of my projects have stock of some kind. It really is the best way to add production value when working on a low budget or just to make an alien dance in your office, because why not? Next, we have Red Giant Universe, which is also subscription-based at $100 a year, but it's absolutely loaded with excellent plugins that I could not live without. And then there's Video Copilot and just all of it. Everything on their site, just buy all of it because it's amazing. Andrew is constantly putting out some of the most badass stuff out there, and often for free, like his new Orb plugin. So if you live in a dark room with no internet for the last 10 years, you may not have heard of it. So link in the notes. Enjoy. And of course, we have our store on TriuneStore.com. We have a bunch of Filmmaker assets, which is a bunch of stuff that I wanted, so we made it. But you know, check it out if you want. Don't if you don't. We do have a Christmas sale going on right now, so, there is that. First is on the low cost end with Accusonus plugins. I did an episode on these, which you can find below, but they're basically one knob plugins that work insanely well. Their ERA bundle has noise remover, reverb remover, de-esser, voice leveler, and plosive remover, and it's a lot cheaper than similar plugins out there. Then there's my current favorite thing in post sound, and that is Soundly. This is another thing that I did an episode on, but basically it allows you to load in all of your sounds so that you can preview and add just what you need to your project. It really helps you get rid of the clutter and lets you focus in on creating great sound design. There is a free version that doesn't come with any extra sounds. It's just the app that you can use with your own sounds to organize, but you can also upgrade and get thousands of great sounds off their cloud. Both are very worth it, so Merry Christmas and enjoy, you filthy asshole.
Ugh, it's animal.
No, it's not. Finally, we have the education, and I don't think you'll be surprised by some of my picks, which is MZ. They are subscription-based now. For one yearly cost, you have access to all their great classes like editing, directing, cinematography, color grading, and more. Then there's Masterclass, which has classes from Aaron Sorkin, Ron Howard, Hans Zimmer, and Martin Scorsese, so I don't think I need to say any more there. And finally, we have a cinematography class from Shane Hurlbut, which is called Mastering the Image, and it's easily the best education on cinematography that you can get right now. It's incredibly in-depth, and Shane is a born teacher, so for all of my directors and cinematographers out there, this is a must. And that's it for my list to Film Santa this year. Again, links to everything we talked about can be found in the notes below, and don't forget about our Christmas sale, which is happening right now, and I'll see you next time when I realize that they're under the floorboards.